Before COVID, we always did them. Post-COVID, we started using as-is riders to the contract, but that's a very buyer-friendly document. It allows the buyer to get out for any reason whatsoever based on that home inspection. If they're moving forward, they're not supposed to be asking the seller for any repairs or credits.
Yep.
But nowadays, statistically speaking, winning offers are waiving home inspections, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I lost an offer this weekend with a buyer, and we were she said you guys were same exact offer, except my offer said doing inspections for informational purposes only, no escape clause unless for structural deficiencies over $20,000 in repair costs. That's very strong language when it comes to inspection contingencies. Yeah. We were beat out by somebody who just waived an inspection.
Right.
So let's
cover those two things.
Difference.
Obviously, it's clear waiving an inspection, just waiving it all together. So that puts the seller in a pretty strong position.
And it's not a comfortable thing to do. It's not for everybody. Let's put that out there. If you're teetering on waiving a home inspection, but you're kind of like, I really would rather not. The next best thing is, okay, have a home inspection. It's for our informational purposes only. There is no escape clause. So if we do back out as a result of the inspection, you can retain our deposit, whatever that amount is, unless there are structural deficiencies or environmental deficiencies, being structural, foundational,
main supports,
things like that.
Roof rafters.
Yep, or environmental.
Leaky roof, Stan, or no leaky roofs? Is that
100%? That's structural.
We had this debate a couple weeks ago. Does a leaky roof constitute structural issues?
Is a roof part of the structure? I think so.
All right. That's a topic for another day.
It's an active leak in a roof. Come on, that's structural.
So whatever is basically a concern for the buyers, right?
And then environmental, which is things like in-ground oil tanks, right? So that's definitely an environmental. Septic, correct. Yep. So, and then to take it one step further, you say you put a dollar amount on it. So structural or environmental concerns with deficiencies, that are over $10,000 in repair costs. So anything under $10,000 in repair costs, the buyer's saying, we'll assume that. Above that, they're going to want the right to renegotiate with the seller. So now this is giving the seller some confidence in, our house is structurally sound. We have no issues. So that way makes us feel comfortable.
Yeah.
And for the buyer, it gives them the opportunity to at least do an inspection.
Absolutely. For those buyers that are willing to waive a home inspection altogether, what does that buyer look like? Who should do that? Who should consider that? What does that look like?
It's really on a case-by-case basis. When you're looking out in, let's just say, the northeastern part of Connecticut, right? We've got the issues with the crumbling foundations. You really need to know what you're looking at, or your agent needs to know what they're looking at before you even think about waiving a home inspection on any of those homes up in northeastern Connecticut, especially the ones built between 1982 and
2016.
Yeah, because if you don't know what you're looking at, you could be buying a house that's got a crumbling foundation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or things like septic and well. You can't see that stuff. You have no idea what's under the ground.
Sure.
You want to know what's happening. So how do you work around those inspections? There are ways to do it. You just need the right.
I was going to say, one, maybe they have a construction background, or they have a family member that has a construction background, so maybe they're bringing those people to take that house tour.
Yeah, and that's a challenge sometimes because
definitely a challenge.
The market's moving so fast. You have to line up people, get them in.
Maybe their agent has a construction background, and they feel comfortable with what they're looking at, what information they're relaying. Hopefully the basement is unfinished, because if it's finished, you really have no way of seeing the foundation, the structural items. And the home has to kind of fit into a certain category, right? It has to look like it's well maintained. There's no obvious signs of floors settling on you, or windows not opening properly. And as an agent, a buyer says that they want to waive, right? We've all heard stories about things coming back a couple years later and people are not happy with the condition, and they're either suing the agent or the brokerage.
There's nothing worse than
how do we protect ourselves, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing worse than selling a house to somebody who waived a home inspection because you basically, we didn't tell them to or advise them to. We gave them that option, and they said, okay, let's do that.
Well, I guess that's the point,
and then
right?
something comes back and happens, and you're like, oh my gosh, how did I let that happen?
Yeah, I guess that's the point. Like, I don't think we should be advising them to do that, right?
Not.
We're just providing options on the table.
Of course.
Talking about the positives and negatives, and if somebody does decide to waive, there's a waiver form for that,
put it
right?
This way. We always try to do an inspection, always.
Right.
Obviously, we're giving them all of the options and what risks are involved with which option they choose.
Yeah.
Ultimately, it's their decision. If we truly feel strongly, though, like if you felt strongly that, okay, I would never waive a home inspection in this house, you would obviously tell them, like,
absolutely,
guys, you can't waive a home inspection here.
Sure.
Like, there's just too much going on here. And a lot of times people don't see that stuff.
I think if there's a house that I would recommend not waiving, it's probably a house that I would recommend passing on anyways. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I bet, if I think there's too many things going on,
True.
It's probably not something we want to invest in anyways.
Very true. Yeah. But sometimes people just want that location or that town or whatever the case
School
is,
district.
and like we'll deal with it. But you don't realize like how much or how many issues could potentially arise as a result of a home inspection until you really start doing one. So.